Listen to me carefully. Nothing in your life happens by accident. Nothing just appears out of nowhere. Everything, your achievements, your failures, your habits, your relationships can be traced back to one powerful source, your thoughts. You are not simply reacting to life. You are creating it with every thought you entertain, every belief you accept, and every idea you meditate on. Your mind is not a follower, it is a creator. Look around you. The house you live in, the phone in your hand, the chair you are sitting on, none of these things existed until they were first a thought in someone's mind. Thought always comes before reality. Before anything is built, before anything is created, before anything comes into existence, it first exists in the mind of the person who conceived it. Architects don't start by laying bricks, they start with an idea, a vision, a blueprint. And your life is no different. Right now you are constructing the life you will live in tomorrow. Your mind is the architect, your thoughts are the blueprint, and your actions are the builders. If you think small, you will live small. If you think failure, you will experience failure. If you constantly meditate on what you cannot do, then you will never step into what you can do. But if you begin to think possibilities, if you expand your mind beyond limitations, if you dare to believe in something greater, then your life will begin to align with that vision. Your reality is simply the manifestation of your dominant thoughts. If you believe you are stuck, your life will reflect that belief. If you think you are not smart enough, not good enough, not capable enough, you will always find evidence to support that thinking. But if you train your mind to see yourself as strong, intelligent, and capable, then doors will begin to open, opportunities will begin to appear, and you will start moving toward the life you desire. Some people believe that success is based on luck. That is a lie. Success is based on the quality of your thinking. Two people can grow up in the same environment, face the same struggles, and yet one will rise while the other remains stuck. Why? Because one thought differently about their circumstances. One decided that their mind would not be trapped by limitations. One chose to believe in possibility instead of impossibility. Let me tell you something. The greatest president in the world is not made of bars and steel. It is made of thoughts and beliefs. Some people are physically free but mentally imprisoned. They are locked in a cycle of doubt, insecurity, and fear, not because the world is against them, but because their own thinking has built a cage around their potential. But you have the power to break free. Do you know what separates leaders from followers? What separates the successful from the average? It is not background, it is not money, it is not talent, it is mindset. The most successful people in the world did not start out with all the resources, but they had the right thoughts. They saw opportunities where others saw problems. They believed in possibilities when others only saw obstacles. And because of the way they thought, they attracted the life they wanted to create. Your thoughts are powerful, but they are also obedient. Whatever you consistently think about, your mind will work to make a reality. If you constantly think about failure, your mind will align with that thought and lead you toward failure. If you constantly think about success, your mind will begin to guide your decisions, actions, and habits toward success. This is not magic, this is a principle. What you allow to dominate your mind will always shape your life. Think about a GPS. When you enter a destination, the GPS calculates the route to get you there. Your mind works the same way. If you program your mind with thoughts of purpose, success, and vision, your brain will start directing you toward opportunities, ideas, and actions that align with that destination. But if you program your mind with negativity, doubt, and excuses, then your life will follow a path that leads to frustration and limitation. Listen to me. You cannot afford to let your thoughts run on autopilot. You must take control of what enters your mind. If you are not intentional about shaping your thoughts, the world will shape them for you. If you allow fear-based thinking to dominate, your life will be full of anxiety and hesitation. If you allow small-minded thinking to take over, your life will remain small. But if you fill your mind with thoughts of growth, learning, faith, and confidence, then you will start experiencing a reality that matches that mindset. Many people live their whole lives as prisoners of their own thinking, never realizing that they hold the key to their own freedom. They wait for circumstances to change, for someone to rescue them, for luck to suddenly turn in their favor. But change does not begin outside of you, it begins inside of you. Your breakthrough does not start with an opportunity, it starts with a thought. What are you thinking about most of the time? What thoughts dominate your mind? Are they empowering or are they limiting? Are they expanding your possibilities or are they keeping you trapped? If you want to change your life, you must start by changing your thinking. I want you to understand this. You were created with unlimited potential, but your thoughts will determine how much of that potential you actually experience. You are capable of more than you realize, but you must first believe it in your mind before you can see it in your life. Think about it. Every invention, every innovation, every breakthrough in history began as a single thought in someone's mind. The car you drive, the phone you use, the airplane that flies across the sky, all of these things existed in someone's mind before they became reality. The people who changed the world were not necessarily the strongest or the wealthiest. They were the ones who dared to think differently. So the question is, what are you building in your mind right now? What kind of future are you designing with your thoughts? Because whether you realize it or not, your thoughts are constructing something. Every time you think about what is possible, you are laying a brick. Every time you entertain a vision of success, you are adding to the blueprint. Every time you refuse to accept limitations, you are reinforcing the foundation. But at the same time, every time you focus on fear, you are tearing down what you were meant to build. Every time you entertain doubt, you weaken the structure of your destiny. Every time you allow excuses to take root, you delay the construction of the life you were meant to live. This is why the greatest battle is not outside of you, it is inside of you. Your mind is a battlefield, and you must fight to guard it, to shape it, to fill it with the right thoughts. Because if you can master your mind, you can master your future. If you can win the war in your thoughts, you can win the war in your life. Listen carefully. Before you can touch something with your hands, you must first see it in your mind. Before you can step into any achievement, you must first believe it is possible. What you constantly see in your imagination, what you meditate on day and night, will eventually become your reality. Nothing just happens. Everything in life follows a pattern. And that pattern begins with vision, not eyesight, but mind sight. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not intelligence, background, or resources, it is vision. Two people can look at the same situation, but one sees problems while the other sees possibilities. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunities. One sees failure, the other sees potential. And here's the truth, life will always give you what you expect to see. Think about an architect. Before he builds anything, he first sees it in his mind. He sketches the blueprint, visualizes the structure, and imagines the finished project. He does not lay a single brick until he has seen the entire building in his imagination. Why? Because nothing can exist in reality until it first exists in the mind. Now here's the question, what do you see in your mind? What kind of future do you picture for yourself? Because whether you realize it or not, your mind is always at work creating the picture that your life will eventually match. If you constantly see struggle, disappointment, and failure, then you will unconsciously make decisions that lead you to that outcome. But if you train your mind to see success, growth, and opportunities, then your life will begin to align with that vision. Some people go through life thinking that they are at the mercy of circumstances. That is a lie. You are not a victim of life. You are a creator of life. The images you carry in your mind are shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. That is why it is so dangerous to allow negativity to dominate your thoughts. If you constantly see yourself as incapable, unworthy, defeated, you will never step into the fullness of your potential. Consider the story of the 12 spies in the Bible. When Moses sent them to scout the promised land, 10 of them came back with a negative report. They said, we are like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so we were in theirs. Notice what happened before their enemies saw them as weak. They first saw themselves as weak. Their reality was shaped by the image they carried in their minds. The other two spies, Joshua and Caleb, had a different vision. They saw victory. They saw possibility. And because of what they saw in their minds, they were the ones who actually entered the promised land. The same principle applies to your life. If you constantly see yourself as struggling, as never good enough, as always failing, then your life will reflect that vision. But if you train your mind to see yourself as strong, capable, and victorious, then you will begin to walk in that reality. This is not wishful thinking, this is a law of life. What you consistently hold in your mind will eventually become your experience. Have you ever noticed that when a person believes they are unlucky, everything seems to go wrong for them? Or when a person believes they are successful, they keep finding opportunities? It's not a coincidence, it's a principle. The world around you adjusts to the picture you hold inside of you. Let me prove it to you. Studies have shown that when athletes visualize themselves winning a race, their muscles actually fire as if they were physically running. Their body begins to prepare for success even before they step onto the track. Why? Because the brain does not know the difference between reality and imagination. It simply responds to the images you give it. Now, let me ask you, what kind of mental images are you feeding your mind every day? Are you imagining success, or are you constantly rehearsing failure? Are you seeing open doors, or are you expecting closed ones? Because whatever picture you keep in your mind, your life will move toward it. You must be intentional about what you allow yourself to see. Stop filling your mind with images of fear, doubt, and failure. Stop meditating on your past mistakes. Instead, begin to see yourself thriving. See yourself breaking barriers. See yourself walking in confidence. See yourself overcoming challenges. See yourself stepping into the life you were created for. Because if you can see it in your mind, you can step into it in reality. Many people say, I'll believe it when I see it. But that's not how success works. You don't wait to see it before you believe it. You must first believe it in your mind. and then you will see it in your life. Think about great inventors. Before the world ever saw electricity, Thomas Edison saw it in his mind. Before the world had airplanes, the Wright brothers saw them in their imagination. Before anyone ever stepped foot on the moon, someone had to first see it as a possibility. Nothing great has ever been accomplished without vision. And the same is true for your life. If you cannot see it, you will never reach it. If you cannot see yourself rising higher, you will stay stuck where you are. If you cannot see yourself healthy, successful, and fulfilled, your reality will never reflect that. This is why successful people do not just set goals, they create mental pictures. They imagine their success long before it happens. They walk in the confidence of a vision that is already real to them, even before it manifests in the physical world. Listen to me, you will never go further than the vision you carry in your mind. If you want to change your life, start by changing the images you meditate on. Stop seeing yourself as a failure. Stop seeing yourself as unworthy. Stop seeing yourself as incapable. Because the more you dwell on those images, the more they become your reality. You must begin to discipline your mind to see beyond your current circumstances. If all you see is where you are, you will never move beyond it. But if you can see where you are going, if you can visualize a future beyond your struggles, then your mind will begin to create the path to take you there. Think of it like a camera lens. If your focus is blurry, your picture will be distorted. If you zoom in on the wrong thing, your image will be out of alignment. The same is true with your mind. Whatever you focus on, whatever you keep in view will become clearer and clearer until it shapes your reality. Listen to me carefully. Every word that comes out of your mouth is a seed that will grow into the reality of your life. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, your words are shaping your future. The things you say today are creating the life you will live tomorrow. You cannot afford to speak carelessly. You cannot afford to use words loosely. Because every time you speak, you are either planting seeds of success or seeds of failure, seeds of growth or seeds of destruction. Look at your life right now. Look at the things you are struggling with, the battles you are fighting, the situations you keep finding yourself in. I guarantee you, if you trace them back, you will find that at some point words were spoken that gave birth to them. Words create cycles. Some people are trapped not because life is against them, but because they keep speaking words that keep them bound. Your words are not just sounds coming from your mouth, they are creative forces that bring things into existence. The Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. That means you are either speaking life into your future or you are speaking death into your potential. You are either opening doors with your words or you are shutting them before you even get to them. You are either setting yourself up for victory or you are speaking yourself into defeat. Have you ever noticed that people who constantly say nothing ever works out for me always seem to struggle? Or that people who say I never have enough money always seem to be lacking? It is not a coincidence. Their words are shaping their reality. They are speaking their struggles into existence. And the more they say it, the more it becomes true in their lives. Your words are like magnets. They attract the reality you speak. Let me show you how powerful words are. Look at the creation story. Everything that exists was spoken into being. God said, let there be light, and there was light. God did not think it into existence. He did not wish it into existence. He spoke it. Because words have creative power. If God used words to create the universe, what makes you think your words don't matter? The problem is, most people do not realize that their words are working against them. They think they are just expressing frustration when they say, I can't do this. But they don't realize they are programming their minds to believe it. They think they are just being honest when they say, I'll never be successful. But they don't realize they are reinforcing failure with their own voice. They think they are just venting when they say, I'm always broke. But they don't realize they are setting their financial destiny in place. Words are like seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in the soil of your future. And just like seeds, words do not produce a harvest overnight. But over time, those words take root, they grow, they begin to shape the direction of your life. Have you ever heard a parent say to a child, you'll never amount to anything? That child may not believe it at first, but if they hear it enough times, if they internalize it, those words will begin to shape their self-image. They will begin to live according to what was spoken over them. This is why you must be so careful with the words you allow into your mind and the words you release into your own life. What you say about yourself matters. What you say about your future matters. You cannot afford to keep speaking against your own destiny. Every time you say, I can't, you are locking the door that God was about to open. Every time you say it's impossible, you are canceling opportunities that were about to come your way. Every time you say, I'm not good enough, you are planting weeds in the garden of your success. Think about this. A farmer does not plant corn and expect wheat to grow. If he wants corn, he plants corn. If he wants wheat, he plants wheat. The same applies to your words. If you want success, you must plant words of success. If you want breakthrough, you must plant words of breakthrough. If you want to change your life, you must first change your language. This is why successful people guard their words. They understand that their words are steering the direction of their future. You will never hear a great leader say, I'm not capable. You will never hear a champion say, I'll never win. Because they know that their words are part of the equation of success. I need you to understand this principle. Your mouth is the steering wheel of your life. If you keep saying you are stuck, you will stay stuck. If you keep saying you are not enough, you will continue to struggle. But if you begin to declare, I am capable, I am strong, I am wise, I am more than enough, your life will begin to align with those words. Some people think this is just positive thinking. No, this is a law of life. Even science has proven that the words you speak affect your brain. When you speak negatively, your brain releases stress hormones that make you feel weaker, less confident, and more anxious. But when you speak positively, your brain releases chemicals that make you feel strong, motivated, and focused. Your words are not just sounds, they are signals that direct your brain and your body. This is why when David faced Goliath, he did not just keep his faith in his heart, he spoke it out loud. He said, this day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. He did not just think about victory, he declared it before it happened. And because he spoke victory, he walked in victory. Let me ask you, what are you declaring over your life? Are you speaking fear, or are you speaking faith? Are you speaking defeat, or are you speaking victory? Are you speaking struggle, or are you speaking breakthrough? Because whatever you declare, that is what will take root in your life. Some of you need to change your language today. You need to stop saying, I'll never get out of this situation. Instead, you need to say, I am moving forward and nothing can stop me. You need to stop saying, I'll never be successful. Instead, you need to say, I was created for greatness and I will walk in it. You need to stop saying, nothing good ever happens to me. Instead, you need to say, doors are opening for me right now. It does not matter what your past looks like. It does not matter what your circumstances say. It does not matter what people have spoken over you. What matters is what you are speaking over your own life. You have the power to uproot the negative seeds that have been planted, and you have the power to plant new seeds of success, abundance, and purpose. Your words are working whether you realize it or not. They are shaping your future, directing your path, and creating the life you will step into. The question is, what kind of future are you building with your words? Listen to me. Your mind is the most powerful force in your life. It is the control center of your destiny. Everything you will ever become, everything you will ever achieve starts right here in your mind. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. If you want to rise to new levels, you must first elevate your thoughts. Because your life will never go beyond the level of your thinking. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against people, not against circumstances, not against systems. It is the battle for your mind. If the enemy can control your mind, he can control your life. If he can keep you thinking small, doubting yourself, living in fear, then he has already won. But if you can learn to guard your mind, if you can take control of your thoughts, then nothing in this world can stop you from walking in your full potential. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant seeds of faith, seeds of confidence, seeds of success, you will produce a harvest of greatness. But if you allow weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity to take root, they will choke your potential before it even has a chance to grow. The question is, what are you planting? Some people have allowed toxic thoughts to rule their minds for so long that they don't even realize they are the ones sabotaging their own success. They think they are just being realistic when they expect failure. They think they are just telling it like it is when they focus on the worst case scenario. But what they don't understand is that their thoughts are creating their reality. Have you ever seen a person who seems to attract the same problems over and over again? They go from one toxic relationship to another. They move from one financial struggle to the next. They always seem to be caught in some kind of drama, and they don't understand why. But if you look closely, you will see that the real issue is in their mind. They have programmed themselves to expect struggle, to expect betrayal, to expect failure, and because that is what they expect, that is what they experience. Your mind is always working whether you realize it or not. It is constantly creating, shaping, and attracting the things that align with your dominant thoughts. Your thoughts are like a magnet. Whatever you focus on, you will attract into your life. If you dwell on problems, you will always find more problems. If you meditate on success, you will begin to see opportunities everywhere. If you focus on what you lack, you will continue to struggle. But if you train your mind to focus on abundance, you will begin to walk in increase. This is why the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because real change does not start with your circumstances, it starts in your thinking. If you want to break free from old patterns, if you want to step into a new level of success, you must first renew your mind. I need you to hear me. You cannot afford to let just anything take root in your mind. You must guard your thoughts like a gardener guards his field. You must be intentional about what you allow to grow in your mental space. If a farmer sees weeds growing, he does not sit back and let them take over, he pulls them out. And in the same way, you must pull out every thought that does not align with your destiny. Stop meditating on thoughts that tell you you're not good enough. Stop rehearsing memories that bring you pain. Stop entertaining fears that keep you paralyzed. If a thought does not serve your future, it has no business living in your mind. One of the biggest lies people believe is that they have no control over their thoughts. They think, I can't help what I think about, but that is not true. You may not be able to stop every thought from entering your mind, but you have the power to decide what stays. Just because a bird flies over your head does not mean you have to let it build a nest. This is why the most successful people train their minds daily. They do not leave their thoughts to chance. They do not allow negativity to linger. They know that their mindset is their greatest asset, and they protect it at all costs. Think about it. Why do you think the most powerful people in the world wake up early to pray, meditate, or read? It is because they understand that the first battle of the day is won or lost in the mind. Before they step into their work, before they make decisions, before they face the challenges of the day, they make sure their mind is in the right place. Let me ask you, how are you training your mind? What kind of thoughts are you feeding it every day? Because whatever you feed will grow. If you feed your fears, they will get bigger. If you feed your doubts, they will multiply. But if you feed your faith, if you nourish your confidence, if you water your vision with positive thoughts, then you will grow into the person you were created to be. It is no accident that some people seem to have a mindset of success while others struggle with self-doubt. It is the result of years of mental conditioning. You see, your mind is like a muscle. Whatever you exercise becomes stronger. If you constantly practice negative thinking, it will become second nature to you. But if you train yourself to think in alignment with your destiny, then success will become your natural way of life. This is why you must be intentional about the voices you allow into your mind. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, with people who speak fear and failure, then those words will begin to shape your thoughts. But if you surround yourself with voices of faith, if you listen to wisdom, if you feed your mind with words that uplift and inspire, then you will begin to think differently. I challenge you to take control of your thoughts today. Do not allow another day to pass where you let your mind run on autopilot. Begin to plant the right seeds. When fear tries to creep in, replace it with faith. When doubt whispers in your ear, respond with confidence. When negative memories resurface, shift your focus to the future. Because whatever you allow to grow in your mind will eventually manifest in your life. Look at history. Every great leader, every world changer, every successful person had one thing in common. They won the battle in their mind before they won it in the world. They saw themselves winning before the victory came. They believed in themselves before anyone else did. They conditioned their thoughts to align with greatness, and as a result, greatness followed them. The same is true for you. Your future is not outside of you, it is inside of you. It is being shaped by your thoughts every single day. You are already planting seeds with every thought you entertain. The only question is, are you planting weeds or are you planting greatness? Listen to me. If you cannot see it in your mind, you will never hold it in your hands. Your imagination is not just a place for daydreams and fantasies, it is the blueprint for your future. Everything great that has ever been built, every major invention, every groundbreaking idea, it all started as a thought, an image, a vision in someone's mind before it became a reality. You must understand this. Your imagination is one of the greatest gifts God has given you. It is the ability to see beyond where you are right now. It is the power to step into the future before it arrives. It is the faculty that allows you to create something out of nothing. But here's the problem. Most people don't use their imagination for their benefit. They use it against themselves. Instead of imagining success, they imagine failure. Instead of seeing opportunities, they see obstacles. Instead of picturing themselves rising, they visualize themselves falling. And because the mind moves in the direction of its dominant vision, they unconsciously create the very things they fear. I need you to hear me. Your life will always move in the direction of your most consistent thoughts. If you constantly see yourself struggling, if you always imagine yourself failing, if you keep picturing yourself stuck, then you are building a mental blueprint for failure. But if you train your imagination to see possibilities, to see open doors, to see yourself walking in victory, then your reality will begin to align with that vision. Look at any successful person, any world changer, any history maker. You will find one common denominator. They saw their future before anyone else did. They had a vision in their minds long before it was visible in their reality. They refused to accept their present circumstances as the final verdict. They lived in the reality of their dreams before the world caught up to it. This is why Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your thoughts are shaping who you are becoming. Your imagination is creating the framework of your future. If you can see it, you can achieve it. If you can envision it, you can walk in it. If you can believe it, you can build it. Think about the greatest inventors in history. Thomas Edison saw the light bulb before it existed. The Wright brothers saw human flight before anyone believed it was possible. Steve Jobs imagined a world where everyone carried a personal computer in their pocket before the first iPhone was ever created. They all understood a powerful truth: your imagination is the birthplace of your future. But here's where many people go wrong. They allow their imagination to be controlled by their past instead of being fueled by their future. They let old failures define what is possible. They let past disappointments limit their vision. They are so focused on what went wrong before that they cannot see what is possible ahead. Let me tell you something. Your past does not have the power to define your future. Only your imagination does. Just because you failed before does not mean you will fail again. Just because something didn't work in the past does not mean it won't work now. Your imagination must be rooted in your potential, not in your history. The problem is many people do not give themselves permission to dream. They have been told to be realistic, to stay practical, to play it safe. But let me ask you, where would we be if every late leader, every innovator, every visionary had only been realistic? If they had only lived within the limits of what seemed possible at the time, we would still be living in the dark, riding horses, and communicating with smoke signals. Your imagination is the key to breaking out of limitation. You will never rise higher than what you can see in your mind. If you can only see yourself surviving, you will never thrive. If you can only see yourself making it day by day, you will never walk in abundance. But if you can see yourself excelling, growing, expanding, and impacting the world, then nothing can stop you from walking in that reality. Look at the story of Abraham. When God wanted to increase his faith, he did not just tell him about his future, he showed him a vision. God told him to look up at the stars and count them. He told him, look at the sand on the shore. Why? Because God knows that what you see in your mind becomes what you manifest in your life. If Abraham could see his descendants in the stars, if he could imagine his future as countless as the grains of sand, then that vision would take root in his heart and shape his destiny. And the same is true for you. What are you seeing? What vision is shaping your life? Are you picturing yourself stuck, or are you seeing yourself rise? Are you focusing on what you lack, or are you imagining yourself walking in abundance? Because the images you hold in your mind will eventually show up in your reality. Let me give you an example. Have you ever decided to buy a certain car and suddenly you start seeing that car everywhere? It is not that the car just appeared, it was always there, but your focus changed. Your mind became aware of something it was previously ignoring. This is the power of focus. Whatever you focus on expands in your life. If you focus on problems, you will always find more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you will begin to see new opportunities. If you constantly imagine yourself losing, your subconscious mind will work to fulfill that image. But if you see yourself winning, growing, and succeeding, your mind will align with that vision and begin working toward it. This is why you must protect your imagination. You cannot allow negativity to build a home in your mind. You cannot allow fear to shape your vision. You cannot let doubt paint pictures of defeat in your heart. Your imagination is too powerful to be left unguarded. I challenge you today, dare to dream again. Stop allowing life to shrink your vision. Stop allowing circumstances to limit what you believe is possible. Stop allowing fear to rob you of the future you were created for. Your imagination is the workshop of your destiny. Make sure you are building something great. You may not see how it happened, but that is not your job. Your job is to see it before it happens. Your job is to hold on to that vision even when reality looks different. Your job is to nurture the dream until the dream becomes reality. Because I promise you this, if you can hold it in your mind, you will hold it in your hands. If you can see yourself walking in greatness, you will walk in it. If you can imagine a future beyond your current situation, you will step into it. If you can believe that there is more for you, that there is purpose inside of you, that there is a destiny ahead of you, then nothing in this world can stop you from achieving it. The only question is, what do you see? Listen to me, every word that comes out of your mouth is either building your future or destroying it. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in the soil of your life. The question is, what are you planting? Your words have the power to create, the power to shape, and the power to manifest. What you declare with your mouth determines what you experience in your life. If you keep speaking defeat, do not be surprised when you keep losing. If you keep speaking sickness, do not be shocked when your body starts breaking down. If you keep speaking fear, do not wonder why you feel stuck. Because the words you speak are forming the world you live in. This is why the Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. Your tongue is like a pen, and every word you speak is writing the script of your life. If you want to change your future, you must first change your words. Most people have no idea that their words are working against them. They think they are just expressing their feelings, just keeping it real, just saying it like it is. But what they do not realize is that every word is shaping something. Every complaint is building more frustration. Every negative statement is reinforcing limitation. Every fearful declaration is giving life to doubt. Some people wonder why nothing changes in their lives. They pray, they work hard, they make plans, but their words contradict their vision. They say they want success, but their mouth is always talking about struggle. They say they want peace, but they always talk about stress. They say they want breakthrough, but they are always speaking about barriers. Your words must align with the future you desire. Imagine a builder who is trying to construct a house, but every time he lays a brick, he knocks it down with his own hands. That would be foolish, right? But that is exactly what many people do with their words. They set goals, but then they say things like, I don't think this will work. They pray for increase, but then they declare, I'll never have enough. They desire success, but they keep saying, I don't know if I'm good enough. Listen to me. Your words will either build you up or tear you down. If you want to create a strong, successful, and fulfilling life, then you must be intentional about the words you speak. You must discipline your tongue to declare what you want to see, not what you fear. Look at creation itself. God spoke the world into existence. He did not form it with his hands. He created with his words. He said, let there be light, and there was light. He said, let the earth bring forth vegetation, and the earth responded. If words have the power to shape the universe, then surely they have the power to shape your life. But here's where many people get stuck. They speak based on what they see instead of what they desire to create. They let their words follow their circumstances instead of letting their words lead their circumstances. This is backward thinking. You do not speak based on where you are. You speak based on where you are going. If you want to walk in favor, you must speak favor. If you want to attract opportunities, you must declare opportunities. If you want to experience joy, you must confess joy. Your words must go ahead of you and prepare the path for your future. Look at David when he faced Goliath. He did not stand before the giant saying, this is impossible. He did not say, I'm too small, I'm too weak. No. He declared his victory before he even stepped into battle. He said, this day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. And what happened? His words paved the way for his success. This is why successful people guard their words carefully. They do not speak in a way that limits them. They do not allow careless, negative, or weak language to come out of their mouths. They understand that what they say today will shape what they experience tomorrow. But hear me, it is not enough to just say positive words, you must believe them. Your words carry power only when they come from a place of conviction. You cannot just say, I am successful while doubting yourself in your heart. You must speak with faith, with certainty, with expectation. Because faith-filled words activate the supernatural. The woman with the issue of blood in the Bible understood this principle. She did not just hope for healing, she spoke it. She said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. She did not say, maybe this will work. She did not say, I hope this happens. No, she spoke her healing before it happened. And because she declared it, she received it. Let me ask you, what are you declaring over your life? What words are coming out of your mouth daily? Because whether you realize it or not, your words are forming something. Every statement you make is a construction site building the foundation of your future. If you keep saying, I'll never get ahead, you are laying bricks of limitation. If you keep saying, this is too hard, you are building walls that block progress. But if you declare, I am capable, I am equipped, I am an overcomer, then you are constructing a life of victory. This is why you must be mindful of what you allow to come out of your mouth. Your words should not be dictated by your feelings, they should be guided by your vision. You may feel tired, but do not say, I can't take this anymore. Instead, say, I am strong, I am resilient, I am more than a conqueror. You may be facing challenges, but do not say, nothing ever works out for me. Instead, declare, I am walking in divine favor and doors are opening for me. You may not see the results yet, but speak as if they are already on the way, because your words have the power to bring them into reality. Let me tell you something, your mouth is a weapon, and if you use it correctly, it will fight for you. When you face obstacles, do not complain, declare victory. When you encounter setbacks, do not speak defeat, declare a comeback. When fear tries to creep in, do not give it a voice. Speak faith, speak courage, speak life. Because the truth is, you are already shaping your future with your words, whether you mean to or not. Every conversation, every self-talk, every declaration is writing the next chapter of your story. So make sure you are writing something worth reading. Your words must be intentional. Do not let negativity hijack your language. Do not allow circumstances to dictate what you say. Speak as if your words have power, because they do. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Speak as if your future depends on it, because it does. And when you begin to align your words with your vision, when you start speaking life instead of death, faith instead of fear, victory instead of defeat, then you will begin to see the reality of those words manifest in your life. Listen to me, the people you surround yourself with are shaping the person you are becoming. Your environment is molding your mindset, influencing your beliefs, and determining the trajectory of your life. If you walk with winners, you will think like a winner. If you surround yourself with small-minded people, your dreams will shrink to fit their expectations. One of the greatest truths in life is this: you cannot rise higher than the people you consistently associate with. Your friends, your mentors, your inner circle, these are the architects of your future. Show me the people you spend the most time with, and I will show you exactly where your life is headed. Many people fail not because they lack talent, not because they lack resources, but because they are connected to the wrong company. They are surrounded by people who drain their energy, weaken their faith, and limit their potential. They try to soar like eagles, but they are flapping around with chickens. They have dreams of greatness, but they are taking advice from people who have never left their comfort zone. Let me ask you, who is speaking into your life? Who has access to your mind? Who are you allowing to influence your thoughts? Because whether you realize it or not, the people around you are feeding your future or they are starving it. Look at the story of Lot in the Bible. Lot was blessed not because of his own greatness, but because of his connection to Abraham. He walked in favor because he walked with a man of vision, but when he chose to dwell in Sodom, everything in his life began to decline. His environment determined his outcome. And the same is true for you. If you want to elevate your life, you must elevate your associations. If you want to think bigger, dream bigger, and accomplish more, then you must connect with people who challenge you to grow. Because iron sharpens iron, but dull people will dull your vision. One of the greatest mistakes people make is holding on to relationships that no longer align with their destiny. They stay in circles that drain them. They hold on to friendships that no longer serve their growth. They are loyal to the past at the expense of their future. But hear me, you cannot step into your next level if you are still tied to people who belong to your last level. You must have the courage to evaluate your relationships. Not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Some people were assigned to a chapter of your life, but they were never meant to be part of the whole book. If you keep dragging them on, they will slow you down. Look at Jesus. Even he was intentional about his associations. He had the multitudes, but he did not give everyone access to his inner circle. He had 12 disciples, but even among them, he had 3 Peter, James, and John who saw his greatest moments. Why? Because access must be earned. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. You must be careful who you share your dreams with. Not everyone can handle your vision. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. Some people are only comfortable with you as long as you stay on their level. But the moment you begin to elevate, they will try to pull you back down. This is why Joseph's brothers hated him, not because he did anything wrong, but because his dream exposed their limitations. His vision reminded them of their own lack of ambition. And rather than growing with him, they tried to destroy him. And this still happens today. Some people do not want to see you grow because your growth highlights their stagnation. Your progress makes them uncomfortable. Your success reminds them of their excuses. So instead of clapping for you, they criticize you. Instead of supporting you, they try to sabotage you. This is why you must surround yourself with people who want to see you win. You need friends who push you, who challenge you, who inspire you to become better. You need people in your life who see greatness in you when you cannot see it in yourself. People who call out your potential, who refuse to let you settle, who remind you of your purpose when you feel like giving up. Because here's the truth: your associations will either accelerate your destiny or delay it. Some people are stepping stones and some people are stumbling blocks. Some will lift you and some will limit you. Some will fuel your fire and some will extinguish it. I need you to hear this: every relationship is an investment. Every conversation is depositing something into your spirit. The question is, are you being filled with wisdom or are you being drained by negativity? Are you surrounding yourself with people who make you better, or are you wasting time with people who are keeping you stuck? Your environment matters more than you think. You cannot plant a great seed in bad soil and expect it to grow. You cannot expose yourself to toxic mindsets, constant complaining, and small thinking and expect to walk in greatness. You must be intentional about the company you keep. Look at David. He had mighty men around him. Men of courage, men of strength, men of vision. And because of his associations, he became even greater. But look at Samson. His downfall came because he kept company with the wrong people. He was strong, but he allowed weakness into his circle. He had potential, but he surrounded himself with those who undermined his purpose. And the same is true for you. It is not just about how strong you are, it is about who is around you. You may have potential, but if you are connected to people who do not believe in growth, who do not believe in discipline, who do not believe in purpose, then their mindset will start to affect you. This is why successful people protect their circle. They do not waste time on gossip. They do not entertain negativity. They do not engage in useless drama. They know that energy is valuable, and they refuse to spend it on things that do not align with their goals. Yeah, let me ask you, who is in your ear, who has access to your thoughts, because the voices you listen to are shaping your beliefs. The conversations you have daily are either feeding your faith or feeding your fear. You need to do a relationship audit. Look at the people in your life and ask yourself, are they helping me grow or keeping me stuck? Are they encouraging my dreams or discouraging them? Are they lifting me or limiting me? Because here's the truth. You do not need a large circle. You need the right circle. It is better to walk alone for a season than to walk with people who are taking you in the wrong direction. It is better to be misunderstood for your growth than to be accepted in a place of mediocrity. I challenge you today, surround yourself with greatness. Get around people who make you think bigger. Connect with those who inspire you to stretch. Build relationships with people who see what is possible, not just what is present. Because when you walk with dreamers, you will start dreaming bigger. When you walk with visionaries, you will begin to see opportunities. When you connect with those who are going somewhere, you will start moving in the right direction. Your relationships are shaping your reality. So choose wisely, because who you walk with today determines where you will end up tomorrow. Wake up. Your daily habits are either building your destiny or destroying it. Every single thing you do on a daily basis is shaping the person you are becoming. Success is not a one-time event. It is a result of consistent, disciplined actions. And failure is not an accident. It is the outcome of small negative habits repeated over time. Show me your habits and I will show you your future. Most people are waiting for a breakthrough, waiting for a miracle, waiting for their big moment, but they are ignoring the small disciplines that will prepare them for that moment. They pray for success, but their habits are leading them toward failure. They desire greatness, but their daily routine is average. They have big dreams, but small discipline. Hear me today, your habits will always tell the truth about where your life is going. You can have all the ambition in the world, but if your habits do not align with your vision, you will never get there. Because your habits create patterns, and those patterns determine the results you see in life. Look at an athlete who wins a gold medal. It did not happen because of one great performance. It happened because of years of disciplined habits. Look at a musician who stands on stage and performs with excellence. That skill was not given overnight. It was built through hours, days, and years of practice. And the same is true in every area of life. Successful people are not just lucky. They have built a system of habits that create success. They do not wait until they feel like working. They have trained themselves to work no matter what. They do not let emotions dictate their actions. They let their commitments determine their schedule. But this is where most people fail. They think motivation is enough. They think if they just get inspired, they will take action. But let me tell you something. Motivation will get you started, but habits will keep you going. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never build consistency. If you only push forward when circumstances are easy, you will never reach your potential. Look at the greatest people in history, whether in business, sports, leadership, or faith. They were all creatures of disciplined habits. They woke up with purpose. They followed routines that made them better, and they stayed committed even when it was hard. But here's the problem. Most people are unaware of the habits that are shaping their lives. They do not realize that what they do daily is either moving them forward or pulling them backward. They are caught in cycles that keep them stuck. They wake up late. They procrastinate. They waste time on distractions. They feed their mind with negativity, and then they wonder why nothing is changing. They have built habits of delay, habits of doubt, habits of defeat. And the truth is, as long as those habits remain, their life will never shift. You must ask yourself, what habits are controlling my future? Because whether you like it or not, your habits are shaping your identity. Your habits determine what kind of person you become. As a person who reads every day becomes knowledgeable, a person who exercises every day becomes strong, a person who saves and invests becomes financially secure, a person who prays and meditates becomes spiritually powerful. But the opposite is also true. A person who makes excuses becomes unreliable. A person who procrastinates becomes unproductive. A person who watches negativity all day becomes fearful and anxious. A person who speaks doubt over their life becomes stuck in mediocrity. You are not just doing habits. Your habits are doing something to you. Every habit is reinforcing an identity, shaping your character, and preparing your future. So the real question is, who are you becoming because of your daily actions? Some people say, I want to be successful, but their habits are lazy. Some say, I want to be a leader, but their habits are inconsistent. Some say, I want to be disciplined, but their habits are weak. Listen to me, your habits must match your vision. If you want to be excellent, you must develop habits of excellence. If you want to be financially free, you must develop habits of financial wisdom. If you want to be a world changer, you must build habits of discipline, learning, and perseverance. Let me tell you something powerful. Your habits are stronger than your emotions. There will be days you do not feel like pushing forward. There will be days when distractions try to pull you away from your purpose. There will be days when everything in you wants to quit. But if you have built strong habits, they will carry you through. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not have to be motivated to do it. You just do it because it is a habit. What if you treated your success habits the same way? What if reading, working out, planning your day, investing in your future, and feeding your mind with knowledge became automatic? Because here's the truth: successful people do what they need to do even when they do not feel like it. They do not wait for the perfect conditions. They do not rely on emotions. They follow their habits until their habits create the life they desire. You need to examine your daily routine. What are the first things you do when you wake up? Are you feeding your spirit with strength, or are you feeding your mind with distractions? How do you spend your evenings? Are you growing, or are you wasting time on things that do not matter? If you are not intentional about your habits, the world will create them for you. Social media will steal your focus. Entertainment will waste your time. Excuses will become your default. And before you know it, you will be years down the road wondering why your life never changed. But hear me today, you have the power to change your habits. And when you change your habits, you will change your life. You do not have to stay stuck in the same cycles. You do not have to keep making the same mistakes. You can start today, right now, by choosing better habits. Make a decision that from this day forward, your actions will align with your purpose. No more wasted time. No more bad routines. No more self-sabotage. Because when you take control of your habits, you take control of your future. Now listen to me carefully. Everything we have spoken about today, your thoughts, your beliefs, your words, your vision, your associations, your decisions, your habits are all working together to create your future. Your reality is not determined by luck. Your life is a reflection of what you have consistently thought about, believed in, and acted upon. Where you are today is the result of the thoughts you allowed to take root in your mind yesterday. And where you will be tomorrow is being shaped by the thoughts you are nurturing today. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. You must take control of your thoughts, because your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. If you plant negativity, doubt, and fear, you will reap struggle, limitation, and failure. But if you plant faith, wisdom, and vision, you will reap abundance, success, and purpose. You have a choice. You can continue thinking the way you have always thought and keep getting the same results. Or you can elevate your thinking, renew your mind, and create a future that aligns with your highest potential. From this day forward, guard your mind with everything you have. Do not allow negativity to take root. Feed your spirit with greatness, expose yourself to wisdom, and build habits that align with your destiny. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Speak words that shape the future you desire, and make decisions that move you toward your purpose. Because when you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your life. When you change your mind, you change your future. And when you align your thoughts with faith, wisdom, and vision, there is no limit to what you can become, what you can achieve, and what you can create in this world.